session of the day. It's not over yet because Europa cinemas like marathons, so it's just the third session of the day. This is Europa Cinema is nothing but innovative, so it came up with a special cinema sports discipline. It's called 20 in 20, and poor cinema people will have to perform a miracle to tell what they're doing in 20 seconds per slide. So everybody get ready, because you have to stuff a lot of things into your head in the next half an hour, a little more. So please, I'm asking the first competitor. This is now a short section. We finished 2 feature-length feature films sessions. Now we are into the section of short films. Please, I welcome Asta MARTINONYTÄ from our beautiful host town to present her city.
Do we have slides? Yeah. So, once again, welcome to Vilnius, a city of many tales. My name is Asta MARTINONYTÄ, but usually I introduce myself as Asta from Pasaka. Word Pasaka in Lithuanian means tale, or more accurately, fairy tale. And that's the name of our boutique cinema. Obviously, Pasaka is my favorite tale, and I would like to share it with you. We have 2 locations in Vilnius, one in Old Town called Senamiesčio Pasaka, and one in newly developed district 20 minutes away called Paupio Pasaka. This is how we look in numbers. We gather something from 2 up to 20% of exact movie national admissions, and sometimes, and more usually, we gather higher numbers with independent European titles than with big Hollywood titles. And this year we celebrated our 15th birthday. And this is who we actually are. Team of very passionate people and true cinema geeks. Currently our team consists of 14 people, 9 of them working on operational level. In administration, we have 5 amazing women, and each has her own field of focus. Programming and communication are our top priorities. We also have strong branches of education and lease. I guess as every cinema, we have good seasons and low season. So we love bad weather. Those cold, rainy days are our favorite ones. And in numbers, cold season monthly admissions might be something like 3 times higher than those shiny summer months. So, to deal with summertime, we have our secret weapon, open-air film festival called Cinema Under the Stars, or Kinas po žvaigždėmis. If people love spending summer evenings in the city, we bring cinema there. It takes place in the very heart of the city, in the yard of Grand Duke Palace. The screen is 15 meters wide, so you have best possible open-air experience. And we use a DCP projector that guarantees possibility of wide range of content. Throughout the years, there were different formats of festival program, showing best titles from cold season mixed with some upcoming premieres. Was concept that worked for quite a long time. Last 3 years, cinema classics, old and new, is our star. To keep audience coming back again and again, we have to deliver on whole experience. So general atmosphere, welcoming staff, and good choice of food and drinks and snacks matters. And popcorn is a must. And this is how our festival looks in numbers. It takes place in the end of July, beginning of August, and the Cinema Under the Stars is truly our passionate project. It brings cinema magic to audience and to our hearts. And as we know, passion can move mountains. In our case, baby Junior is born. This is our new project, also open air film festival, but for younger audience, mainly for school students and families with children. It's called Cinema Under the Stars Junior, or Kinas po žvaigždėmis Junior, and it started 2 years ago. If with Senior Festival we work on improvements, new trends and so on, with Junior we are working on basics, best location, duration, program and extra values. Our first Junior Festival took place in very extraordinary location in the park on the hill. This year we moved much more into city center, and festival took place in the terrace of Modern Museum, one you definitely must visit while you're there in Vilnius. So highly recommended. And this is how our Junior looks in numbers. It takes place in the end of school year, first week of June. During 5 days, we have 15 screenings, 3 screenings per day. 2 of the screenings are more for school students and 1 for family with children or young adults. Education about cinema art is a very important part of this Junior Festival. Though obviously you will not attract children in the end of the school years emphasizing education. This is why entertainment becomes part of educational process. And of course you have to have ice cream on site. So maybe at this point you might think we make those festivals just for fun. Well, maybe we are. But they also generate some positive impacts. Attractive open-air summer film festival format makes art of cinema approachable for much more wider audience. And when you engage with the audience, they tend to come back even during winter season. Some highlights from festival screenings find place in our special Christmas program in our cinemas. And last but not least, part we love most of all, proposals that we have heard lead to weddings. So, Cinema Under the Stars is best choice for date night as it brings all the city romance in one place. This is our Arthouse tale from Pasaka team. Visit us in summer. Experience magic of cinema under the stars in the very heart of the city. Or visit our cinemas later today. Thank you.
Working again. Oh, it's working. Thank you, Asta, and it was really great. You had a very difficult task. You had to open the session, so nice one. And now I'm calling our French representative, Laurent CALLONNEC, to do the same. Yep. Yep. You don't see it, but on those 2 screens, they are having a countdown that they are under pressure to perform.
Hello. Yeah, it's going to be Messieurs and her. It was amazing. So I just want to say bravo. So I'm Laurent CALLONNEC. I'm the director and of the Cinéma L'Écran de Saint-Denis and the Festival Regard Satellite. I'm working then since '92. I started as a cashier and with this little cinema around the corner in Saint-Denis. Its place is part of a city that is in north of Paris called Saint-Denis, I said that already, sorry, with very old history. He has 2,000 years almost. He was a religious settlement. He was the place of the burial of the kings. And also a very major industrial and blue-collar area, also very activist, leftist. And to finish, we've been also the place of the Stade de France, where we have some famous soccer game, Beyoncé concert, and also the Olympic Games recently. Just a little map of the Paris area. So there is a lot of people working in Paris area in the cinema, so we have a lot of competition. But again, the true story is during the 70s, like 50 years ago, most of the cinema in Paris disappeared because it was mostly mono screens with one screen, personal, private theaters, and they basically all disappeared in the 70s. This one you see on the left was a Pâté, was opened from 1907 to 1977, and it was the last to close in Saint-Denis. So the city will decide to open its own cinema, like a public cinema, close to the theater, and the cinema sorry, I'm a bit late on my timing already, so it's awful. So the cinema started as also a very ambitious place to try to be at the same as Paris, inviting a lot of amazing people. So we start with Sergio Leone, Michael Powell, and Jean-Luc Godard and Youssef Chahine. So, you know, it was a bit of a tension when you come to the cinema and you have to start to work in a place that do have this amazing first Q&A. So you have to continue, and they continue to work with that, creating a festival called Les Acteurs à l'Écran, who was basically about best actors and competition. So we basically invited most of the new generation of French cinema actors and directors like Assayas, Isabelle Huppert at the time, and of course there is another little story, is this photo on the left was made by the local photographer, Juliette Binoche, and was finished in Variety. So that was the kind of the Hollywood years of the cinema in the 90s. And then at the end of the 90s, we have a major economical crisis, and there was also a multiplex that opened in this close to Saint-Denis. So we have to close one of the theater. I forgot to say that. It was one theater first, then we opened a second cinema with 2 screens. This one you saw here, the one who is at the corner of a little weird place, is almost invisible. So people, when they discover a cinema, they have to find it it's 2 minutes away from the subway, but nobody find it. So we've very, very stressed sometimes to bring people like invitees to this place. So this is O2 screens. 2 1960 screens and 95 screens. We have around 70 to 80,000 people coming to the cinema every year, and we do around 200 animation a year. So Q&A or screening for kids, or like we're going to show a bit later when I will be more invited. And, of course, sorry about that, it's a bit messy again. This is our program. So the program is a major important thing, a document we have in this cinema. We started in 92. Again, in 82, sorry, and we finish, and we continue to have this Montreal program every month, talking about what we're going to do and show, so people know our programmation weeks in advance. The festival I talk about, Acteurs à l'Écran, died, but they reopened in a new format during the 2000 to now. Now the festival is called Regard Satellite, and we continue to have, but a different style of programming. I will explain a bit later. But that's also, as you see, we work a lot about visual. We try to always have this kind of catchy, strong visual. And the festival, and what we do in this festival since the last decades now, is we're trying to be about alternative cinema, alternative approach cinema. We do like ciné-concert. We do this was basically what you see on the left was an event about the movie of Lech Kowalski, who was the director, was doing a movie documentary about a strike, and we have invited as the performance of the people that were doing the strike in the cinema. And he finished, by the way, by an amazing blues concert from people from Texas for 3 hours. That was the same night, so we're sorry for the photo. And we like also to make a lot of musical happening in the cinema. So I am a pretty fast talker. We're working a lot with schools. So we have on the left, during the COVID, we decided to continue to work, and we bring basically the cinema to the schools, so we're still open, to make events and learning about cinema, and we continue to try our best to work. And also we do TikTok atelier with young kids to learn them how to use and practice cinema. My team is pretty much in cosplay, so you have also a demonstration of their work every Halloween night. They enjoy really that too much. I mean, I have to say now, this Halloween night is not directed by me. The team of the cinema making it, entries, they do the decorations, they pick the movies, and they have a lot of fun, obviously. Sorry about that. So again, a cinema doesn't exist without its audience. As everybody else here, I think we have a high and low, but it's always amazing to see in the cinema. It's a very small cinema. So when you have a crowd, it looks amazingly full. And in fact, because the cinema is very small, when there is the audience and when there is the talents that come, everybody's in the same place. You cannot, it's really like very close contact. You cannot have this distance like in some more venue, more boutique venue. Everybody has to be together, so people have to cross. I have to say also, we are very connected to the history also of activism, like I said. So in my cinema, we are trying also to emulate actions with non-profit organization about also the political facts and venues. And we also try to be also an open place for young audience, but also young creation. So we kind of steal an idea from a Nova Cinema in Brussels. I have to say, thanks to Europa Cinema, I learned this thing. So we did open screens a few years ago, 2 years ago, and we have an amazing audience of young people that came to show their movie and also see them. Again, we continue to have also works with younger cinema, than we saw the star of the last years. These last years, we had people like Jonathan Glazer, Arthur Harari, or Laura Paredes and Laura Citarella from El Pampero that came. And I want to say also, this amazing work is not possible without an amazing team. So I have 12 people working with me. The guy on the center is not working with me. But the thing is, basically, it's because of them we can do so much amazing work. Thank you very much, and sorry for the mess.
Thank you, Laurent. I think that you get extra points for most words per second. So a challenge for the next one? No, not really. So Emma, Demeter, please. Now it's your turn.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to tell you a real Hungarian tale, a cinema tale. So once upon a time there was and there is a 3-screen art house cinema with a bar and a terrace situated in Szolnok, 100 kilometers from Budapest, which is a family business, meaning that my father is a director, my mother is working there, my sister, and we have other colleagues as well, of course, who are working hard to get this much amount of admissions as you see on the slide. So this was how our cinema looked like in the 1990s. Nobody wanted this building. This was very in a bad shape. It was old. And my father decided to buy the building and to renovate it and to turn it into a real art house cinema, a community space. As you could see on the next slide, once it turns, we had more than 50 videotheques and other art house cinemas as well. But then the first multiplex was built and we decided that we will only do one art house cinema. And as I was modeling and playing hide and seek in the house, this is how my children are doing the same nowadays. And it's really fun to have them there. So this was time of the renovation, and what I realized is that all the furnitures, the carpets, the pictures from home started to disappear and ended up at the cinema. Because my family thought that they love to share what they have at home and my house is your house. So they decided to bring everything there, and I just realized my grandmother is there on the wall. And they really love to combine antique furniture with the modern style. So this is how our cinema looks like nowadays. I practiced at home, but this was, anyway. So we have a big screening room and 2 smaller ones. And we also have a nice terrace where we can show movies from May to October. On a huge LED screen, but we are also organizing all sorts of cultural events there, such as, I don't know, concerts, gastronomical events, book exhibitions. And cinema is not just good for, showing films, but it's a great place for parties, for your wedding pictures to be taken. And we also converted our attic into a community space, a studio where we have all sorts of VR events, and film quizzes and discussions after the film, so it's kind of like a community place. We are believing in forming small communities. We are educating the youth. We have all sorts of programs like the creative workshop. We have summer film camps, YouTuber workshop. We are outsourcing media lessons, meaning that we invite the director of the films. And we have a cinema visiting competition because we would like to have as many people on European movies as we can. We are also entertaining the audience. We have the oldest film club in Hungary. We have family movie mornings with arts and craft activities. We have Hungarian film premieres inviting the film crew. And as I said, we have concerts not just outside, but inside as well in our cafe. We believe in the young generation. We try to focus on them, and we take them sometimes out, out of the cinema, visiting film festivals, film studios, and we are launching many film competitions. We are also awarding these young, talented people. We also have provide them opportunity to show their work, whether if it's a book or their band is performing at our cinema or they want to show their exhibition. And we help them to make films. We have our own equipment, such as cameras, lighting, and the stuff, so we would really like to help them to make their own films. We really believe that we need to be innovative. This is why we have our own mobile application, a loyalty card, an outside kiosk that people don't need to queue up, and we have a film and drink stock market. The more you drink, the less the prices go down. And we believe that we need to collaborate with the cinemas to do international projects such as the Cinema for Youth or the Resonance Cinema project or the Cinema Without Barriers. And we were the first Hungarian cinema to do the training boot camp a couple of weeks ago, which we are really proud of. And this way we can supplement our cinemas program with activities that we wouldn't be able to do any other way. These are the spaces that we are using in our cinema. Sometimes we are moving out of the cinema, even to high schools, to attract the young audience and get them back to our cinema, of course. We believe that cinema is for everyone. This is why we are participating in the project Cinema Without Barriers, meaning that we are accessibilizing 40 films until 2026. The films will have audio narration, sign language interpretation, and also special subtitles. So those people who are deaf or blind can have an access to film culture as well. We have our own film festival. It's an international film festival, which is the oldest festival in Hungary. It has been run by us for 34 years. We invite well-known film professionals who are having master classes, and they are also being present in the jury. And we invite students and teachers from 9 universities. This is the only film festival, as far as I know, in Europe as well, which is concentrating and focusing on production, design, fine art, and science. And we often end up partying in the evening. This is the cinema team. We are really grateful for being cinema workers, as we can fulfill many positions and practice multitasking. And sometimes we are very much devastated, but sometimes we get an award because of our efforts towards the public. And we really like to serve the public, make them food, clean, recycle, maybe dance a little bit whenever we have some free time. And yeah, basically that's it. Cinema is our second home, so this is why we are such warm-hearted cinema workers, and I hope you are not as tired and exhausted as the children on this picture. Whenever you are in Hungary, you are really much welcome to come, and I promise I will show you our cinema around, not just in 7 minutes. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Eva. And if this isn't a very happy Hungarian story, I don't know what is. And film families are a success story for cinema. So now I welcome Jan van der Brink.
Thank you, Metka. Good evening, lovely people. Since I don't have to introduce myself anymore, I very much would like to introduce the Verkadefabriek to you. To give you some sense of the place, the Verkadefabriek is located in the beautiful city of 's-Hertogenbosch. I will rehearse that with you afterwards, in the south of the Netherlands. And if you consider the bigger picture, Den Bosch, as we call it, is the center of the Benelux. It is a former cookie factory for the famous Verkade cookies and chocolate, and many of the locals have worked here. And after the factory is shut down, this area was in different ways the edge of town. When the Verkadefabriek came established here at the factory and was rebuilt as a theater and art house cinema in 2004, this neighborhood became a popular hub for culture. This autumn is our 20th anniversary, and the center has become an inspiration for many venues in the Netherlands. As you might have seen in this image, we have a lot of activities every day. 20 screenings a day, 3 theater shows a week, jazz and Americana concerts, and if there's no cultural time slot, especially at daytime, we have more commercial activities like conferences, conventions, and company presentations, as well as lots of collaborations with local and social partners. We launched numerous online marketing campaigns, but we still produce lots of flyers for our specials and film courses. If you look better, you will discover the Europa Cinemas logo on every flyer. And speaking of film courses, last year, more than 2,500 people took a course on different themes, film analysis and the history of film. Famous Dutch director Martin Koolhoven has his own specific way of adult education. He visits the Verkadefabriek 5 times a year for an interactive college on film history, like war films, Dutch cinema or James Bond, and famous directors like the Coen brothers Alfred Hitchcock and Clint Eastwood. He's a walking encyclopedia, always watch films together with him, and after a film, we discuss it. We focus on different ways on young film professionals by showing their work, giving them an open stage or a working period in an open project space, and in our monthly movie cafe film part where we make in-depth interviews with them. For kids, we organize many special events in every holiday period, like this kids-only screening. In the evening, kids from 8 years on will visit a film with a special treat, a dancing workshop, interviewing a filmmaker by the children, a cooking workshop, and so on. Also, for our youngest visitors, we produce many specials, like toddler fun with crafting afterwards, or an afternoon where they can take their plush cuddly toys to the Verkadefabriek. During the film, a special doll doctor will repair them. And in our big hallway, we present 4 photo exhibitions a year, often related to media like cinema, theater, and photography. Sometimes we acquire works of art or expose historic film posters like works of art. Next year we'll change this hallway in order to be able to present more art in 3 dimensions, especially installations and small statues. Our core business still is film and theater, but we also present, like I told you before, music, gigs, lectures, performances, courses and debates in our 5 screens, 2 theater halls and our club room. In that venue we also present a great quiz show on film with more than 20 fanatic films teams competing. In our next slide you will see our collaboration with a Dutch quality newspaper. We organize every year a preview day with 4 avant-premières, film journalists who introduce these films, and a lunch and dinner for 300 visitors. From all over the country, people come to the Verkadefabriek to enjoy a high-quality mini festival. Film and food packages work here very well. Every Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday you can buy a film and food deal and have a nice and attractively priced dinner before you visit the film. Especially lots of women use these deals with their women friends. I'm also proud on our buitenbios, again, the open-air cinema on our own property. In the summer we present for 2 months every night a classic, a preview, a music film, or the choice of the public. With beer, snacks and headsets, they experience film in a very informal setting. One of our biggest interdisciplinary projects is a Queer Arts Festival, 3 days of celebrating queer culture, queer art and queer community, with cabaret, lectures, films curated by queer communities, exhibitions, podcasts, performances, talk shows, workshops, and an impressive burlesque show. We will launch the 3rd edition of this festival in June 2025. And we keep on working on the building and its facilities. Last year we replaced all our DCP projectors and the screens, and this year we created our own boutique cinema with relaxed, easy chairs, specially designed for the Verkadefabriek, recycled materials on the walls and on the floor, and with green plants in it. It has only 25 seats, but we also have cinemas with 55, 77 and 150 seats. And with the subscription model of Cineville, the 360 seats in total and more than 300 films in 2024, we will cross the magic border of 150,000 film visitors in 2024, an attendance record. This last image is the artist's impression, which takes us into the next decade. This part of Den Bosch will blossom into a whole new area for arts, housing and leisure. And in the middle of this urban planning violence, we intend to develop a new multifunctional space in which we might present digital sets for theater shows, highly immersive VR experiences and an art gallery and a second cafe restaurant. The way I see it, this will be a very challenging future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan. I think that we will have to have a reform of the calendar. It has to be longer for you to squeeze everything in. Thank you. Now, Bozena PERSKA, please.
Hello, I'm Bozena PERSKA from Katowice, Poland, the Silesia region in the south of Poland. And I would like to present Kosmos Cinema, the art house celebrating its 60th anniversary next year. We are located 15 minutes from the city center in a green residential area. Cosmos Cinema is managed by Silesia Film Institute, a public institution, which operates 5 art houses in Silesia, 3 in Katowice, 1 in Żywiec, 1 in Racibórz, and the Silesian Film Archive, the only regional film archive in Poland. Cosmos Cinema opened in 1965. It was designed by a team of 3 architects. At the time, it was a very modern cinema equipped with a panoramic screen, a bold example of modernist architecture. The front was completely glazed, and after dusk, the shining building looked splendid. This is our 5 minutes of fame when the Spanish music band put a picture of our cinema on the cover of the album. In the late 90s, Cosmos Cinema lost its charm, and thanks to EU funds and public grants, we started the renovation. But the result was rather disappointing. Silesia Film received the Concrete Cube anti-award granted by the association My City for the worst reconstruction in Katowice. But anyway, we reopened in 2006 in a building compared to a popcorn box, which is the worst shape for an art house with policy of no popcorn, but with 2 screening rooms and extra space for exhibition and educational workshop. But we use these advantages as an idea for programming. For several years, we organized the project Film and the City, a presentation of films dedicated to city space design, discussion with architects, a workshop, exhibition, and city excursion. And I would like to focus on our main activity, the promotion of classic cinema in cooperation with the Silesian Film Archive. Our specialty is projects lasting all year round, dedicated to specific themes or artists with unique visual identification. In 2018, we organized Ingmar Bergman Year on the 100th anniversary of the director's birth, and the highlight was the screening of the full version, cinema version of Fanny and Alexander, which lasted over 5 hours. In 2019, our hero was Kazimierz Kuc, a famous director from Silesia who discovered the Silesian region for the world, created captivating stories about Silesian culture. We showed all his films on a big screen. We published a booklet with analysis of his legacy written by young film critics, and a special calendar containing film stills, and we also organized an outdoor exhibition popularizing his work. 2020 was dedicated to a great artist, Federico Fellini. It was a very challenging year because of the temporary closure of the cinema due to COVID pandemic. But anyway, we managed to screen 12 Fellini's classic masterpieces in 2020 and 2021. In 2022, we organized a year of horror movies, 100 years after the premiere of Nosferatu, Murnau's Nosferatu. We came back to the past of the film's history to look at it from a contemporary perspective, to discover a new context and masterpieces. We started with Nosferatu, but we managed to show some European rarities like Hexen, Swedish paradocumentary, some Italian films, and French Belgium, and German screen adaptation of Stefan Grabinski short stories by Holger Mandel, who was our guest. We dedicated 2023 to science fiction cinema, starting with the great dreamer Georges Méliès and his Le Voyage dans la Lune. But we explored not only American classics from 50s and 60s, but also French science fiction and Czech science fiction. The biggest success of a year of science fiction movie was a special screening of Terminator Second Judgment Day in the Silesian language. The dialogues were specially translated and performed live by actors. 2024 is our year of Asian cinema, so we are taking the viewers on an extraordinary year-long journey through Asian cinematography, customs, and culture. Our meetings are devoted to Chinese, Korean, and Japanese films. We are especially proud of showing, thanks to China Film Archive, for the first time in Poland, the silent movie Pan Si-dong, a Chinese masterpiece, and the music for the film, which he created himself, was performed live by Katowice-based electronic musician Rabbit on the Moon. Screenings during the year of Asian cinema were followed by various activities, workshops like dancing with a fan, meetings with experts, language lessons, and a special section for children. Because of the richness of Asian cinematography, next year will be also dedicated to it. Here are some pictures of our team while promoting various events. And now we are planning some extra events to celebrate our 60th anniversary next year, some crazy ideas like vintage fashion show, of the 60s, and a special screening of an Asian film in the Silesian language. Maybe it will be Godzilla, we will see. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bozena. It looks like you're programming also for yourself quite a lot. The film program was amazing. So next up is Kim FOSS. Don't do that. It's not that type of sport activity.
No.
Just talk fast, not jump fast. Okay.
Thank you. But I mean, you're criticizing me already, but let me start by an apology because I did not rehearse this in front of the mirror. I'm really impressed by your timing. I might make some jump cuts and speak out of context with the images, but this is my try. I also apologize for being a little bit full of myself because that's the assignment. So I might even be on some of the images. But first, let's start where it started. Our cinema in Copenhagen, one of the oldest we have in the country, is celebrating 111 years this Christmas on Boxing Day. I don't know what we call it elsewhere. The British call it the Boxing Day. It's the second day after Christmas. And the first director, my first predecessor, was called Walter Christmas. Now I see it's going much faster than I expected. So let me jump to my presentation as we actually have more than one company. We have the cinema. We had the camera film as our distribution. Every cinema should have a distribution arm. Every distributor should have a cinema. We expanded just before COVID with a streaming platform. You see it here, grand home cinema. We're generally very opposed to streaming, but when our customers insist on being in their couches, we would like to be the providers of the product. Next latest addition to our cinema is actually a neighboring cinema, which we acquired only this summer. It's called Gloria. It's a one-screen cinema, and for us it's an experimental venue. We use those spillover screenings, and we use it for also exclusive screenings of films not coming out elsewhere. Both cinemas have cafes. It's super important to have this. And as written, our audience, they love the smell of coffee, and they also come early. We have free coffee with the first morning screenings to attract an audience. We start already at 9:30. We also embrace the arts. This is a Danish DOP, but he's also an artist doing photography. And we have the last 18 years have a ton of various artists running through our cafe. Now, then the main thing, the main room of our cinema, that's where it all started. It's a 300-seat room where it was originally built as a ball place for the hotel, which is hosting. We're inside the same building as an Art Nouveau hotel in Copenhagen. It was converted into a cinema hall, and that's where we do the galas and so forth, and that's where we do the special screenings. I'm presenting you the first ones. Collaboration with the French, we do the collaboration with the German, we do also, you see a slide for the Italians, but generally we're open to anyone who knocks on our door. We usually say it could be Lithuanian documentaries, whatever. You're so welcome to have your film screened here, but please bring your audience as well. We need someone to kind of bridge towards the audience for those particular films, because it's not always the core interest of our audience, say, to watch Lithuanian documentaries. Sorry about this, but that's basically how it is. But to work with the niche for the various countries is also something which is contributing greatly to our cinema. I see Jonas. Jonas is sitting here. We're two people representing the company here as general manager, and since May, also general manager of our new sidekick, Gloria. This is my very good colleague, Mette. I worked with her for 18 years now, and we are kind of partners in crime. We are also doing our distribution company together, and we're going to festivals together, and we're acquiring the films here. We're celebrating Joachim Trier, a friend of the house, you could say. Here's another friend of the house. This is Viggo Mortensen. He even comes when he's in Denmark just to watch films in private, but I mean, he is also one of the people we managed to convince to come and be at the theater for the premieres, which supplies not only good SoMe material, but also extra promotion of the film. This is just historical. Maybe it's bragging too much, but we have this hanging in the cinema because it was a big thing to have Time Out give us two kind of awards, one for the cinema itself and one for the programming. And now I'm getting onwards with the programming. What you see is, for some of you, a remnant from the past, but we still do that. We still do the printed programs and all the old school stuff, which people have lying on their tables at home, because it still works. You see the core audience, and my most important statement here would be to say, I heard it said several times today, this older audience is dying out, but it's actually the opposite is the case. Because this demographic, the plus 50 demographic, is becoming a bigger and bigger part of our society. So we actually have a burden. We are not allowed to use the word, but we have the elderly burden, we call it in Denmark. So we're getting more and more people in this age group coming to our cinema, which means I didn't even have time to say anything about the younger audience, but you saw the picture. We also cater to them. We also program across the age groups. We have very good results with The Substance, for instance, and some of the older people, they faint when they watch it, but the younger people, they scream in delight. So it's, I'm very optimistic for our sector, and I'm not so pessimistic when it comes to like having these different age groups, because I see it every day for myself. They all come to a cinema, whether they be 4, 19, 60, or even 80 years old. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. I think that you won extra points from all of the women over 50, so. And now, Yuliia ANTYPOVA from Ukraine, the last one, but not the least, of course.
Dear colleagues, my name is Yuliia ANTYPOVA, and I am the Chief Manager of Zhovten Cinema in Kiev, Ukraine. I present our Arthouse history. First of all, we would like to thank you for your support and solidarity with our people since the first days of the full-scale invasion of Russian troops. Today, our cinema has become a multifunctional cultural center that combines cinema with other forms of creativity, creating a space for inspiration, exchange of ideas and progress. Back in January 1931, the first film screening took place. Since then, the countdown of the history of the Kiev cinema Zhovten, which is located in the historic center, started. For 93 years since its foundation, the cinema has been introducing Kiev residents and guests to the diversity of the world of Ukrainian cinema. The culture of the nation are shaped here. Our cinema features 6 cinema halls equipped with modern technology and comfortable seats for the audience. From the beginning of the war to the present day, our cinema hosted about 30,000 film screenings attended by more than 500,000 viewers. In addition, the cinema has a conference hall where lecture workshops and master classes are held, and the exhibition gallery where exhibitions of painting by our contemporaries take place. There's also a bookstore selling movie, literature and merch, as well as a popcorn bar and a cafe serving European and national cuisine. For many years, our cinema has been a constant venue for such international film festivals as the Molodist, the documentary film festival DocuDays UA. For 2 years in a row, we have been participating in Film O'Clock International Festival. The cinema hosts more than 15 different festivals each year. Despite the difficulties we face this year, we have launched two of our Arthouse film festivals, Soundtrack Ukraine and Kyiv Bike Fest, opened Cinema Club, organized more than 50 creative meetings with filmmakers, and several charity poster markets, the proceeds from which were donated to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. To encourage new audience, we are engaged in organizing more and more events taking into account the changing preferences of our cinema goers, bringing together film lovers. One of our new festival, Kyiv Bike Fest, the purpose of which is to unite motorcycle and cinema fans, is creating a unique space for interaction between the two cultures. Soundtrack Ukraine is a festival about the cinema, but it's focused on understanding what music added to the plot, and now Ukrainian soundtrack evolved over a century of silent and sound cinema. The festival united the basis of 3 cultural institutions, Zhovten Cinema, National Philharmonic of Ukraine, National Alexander Dovzhenko Center. The first sessions of the Zhovten Cinema Club took place this autumn, where the audience watched the discussed film together. Zhovten Cinema Club is a new project which opens up new facets of cinema art for lovers of cinema and its history. The club's program includes screenings of Arthouse films, interesting lectures and acting performances before the screening, which had special charm, turning an ordinary film screening into a theatrical event. The new project has attracted attention with an unusual presentation of the plot and the intrigue of what is happening in the movie. We promote changes in the direction of equality in Ukrainian society, and we are ready to defend the values of the rights and freedoms for every person, including the rights of the LGBTQ+ and community. That is why we have become the main venue for the first Ukrainian LGBTQ+ film festival, Sunny Bunny, for the second time. A little humor. After watching this film, our audience is divided into two types. I want to watch again and again, and the opposite, I can't stand it, mostly of male reviewers. Our goal is Cinema Without Borders, and one of our achievements is that we are only one dog-friendly cinema in the city that tolerates visiting film screenings with pets. Our personnel are trained to deal with pets and are ready to help their owners choose the most comfortable seats and guide them around the cinema. Yeah, so fast. Since 24 February 2022, our cinema has been operating in extremely difficult conditions. Constant shelling, the threat of attacks, e-raids, and regular power cuts have become part of our life. This forces us to cancel screenings and look for creative solutions to ensure that we can operate even in the absence of electricity. Recently, our team has suffered the loss of our colleague, movie engineer Mikhail Omovchan, who was killed on a combat mission. Back in summer, he was working on the technical support of the Music Film Festival soundtrack Again, which we held in the face of major power storage. On this slide, you see a shot that illustrates the power of audience unit here. The field that is crucial to work to support our country, our people on the cultural front. We help Ukrainian soldiers and internally displaced persons from other regions to ensure social equity, support their well-being, and adapting to difficult life circumstances. We organize special events aimed at psychological support to our compatriots. As a result of the Russian armed aggression in Ukraine, about 600 children were killed and over 2,000 were injured of varying severity. This is why we put a lot of work into supporting the children who need psychological and emotional support and helping adapting in civilian society. In times in war, we must take care of safety because it's the main thing that can save lives. To this end, we organize free training sessions for our staff and the public to teach them the basics of first aid. Under the sound of the siren being in shelters, overcoming all difficulties which drive a wanting victory. Thanks to our friends and partners for their help in countering the threat of destruction of humanity and world cultural heritage. For every word, every outstretched hand of help, a low bow. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuliia, very much. So this is the first part of the Arthouse Tales. I think that we've heard a lot of really inspiring stories. So we conclude this part of the first day of the conference. So now in the hall there is a dinner for you, but at 8 o'clock, the buses will start to move us to the cinema where the Europa Cinemas Awards ceremony is gonna be held. So, yes. Well.